Hey, hello, it's Facebook Friday. This is Dana with Cierra Candle and Soap Making Supplies. So I hope some of you were a little intrigued by the post that I put out today on Instagram and Facebook. And it was a quote, if it scares you, you just it might be a good thing to just try it. And so I'm going to share a little bit of truth with you, a little bit of my background. I think it's always good for people to get to know the person behind the company or the branding or whatever you want to call it. And so I've only been doing this for 3 years. And I started out, I had a different career for 34 years in association management. Started with an association, a nonprofit association in Austin, Texas in 1981. And as an executive assistant, I had a degree in court reporting, and I ended up going to work for a trade association at the time, and had just a really wonderful mentor. His name is Stephen Hacker. He basically let me do anything I wanted to do. So it was a career that I had never thought that I would have, and I ended up having 34 wonderful years in association management. And then 3 years ago, we decided to sell the association management company. I was one of 4 owners. And after 34 years, I thought, hey, maybe it's time to try something different. But I really didn't know what that was going to be. And so my husband, the Cierra man, his name is Scott, he spent over 30 years in technology as a software engineer, and left the big old Microsoft and bought a business, a hand woodworking tool business out of California, and moved it up here to Everett. And so he did something that was totally outside his comfort zone that he really knew nothing about. And when it came time and we sold the company that I was with, I just was a little lost for a little while. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And he said to me, why don't we find a company that we can buy that kind of fits with my model, his hand woodworking tool model, and you run that business. And so we started looking around, and we found this company, Cierra Candles, it was called at the time, which we still relate to. That's our name, really. And it was in Kalispell, Montana. And this wonderful gal named Kimberly owned the company at the time. And we went to Kalispell and spent a couple of days with her, getting to see what the company was all about, and just ask, the basic questions that you would ask before you buy a company. And it really was intriguing to me, but it also was super scary. Doing something I'd never made a candle in my life. Didn't know how to make soap. Had no idea. And I have to tell you, it's been a blessing. It has been so much fun. We ended up buying the company and moving it here to Everett. Kimberly, when she had the company, didn't have a retail store because she had basically 2 other jobs that she was doing at the same time running this. I have no idea how she did that. We opened the retail store. We bought it in June, and then we opened the retail store in October. And over the last 3 years, we've added. I didn't even know that my phone could ring while we were on live. Here we go. Anyway, so one of the things that my father always preached and said is that you should do what you love and love what you do. And my dad was one of those people that went to work for over 50 years and loved his job. There was never a morning that he got up and didn't go to work. And about the last year that I was in association management, I was having quite a few of those mornings where I really wasn't loving what I was doing, and it was hard to get up in the morning and go. And since I bought this business 3 years ago, I haven't had one of those days. I'm just having a blast. I've learned how to make candles. I'm still learning how to do a lot of things with candles, but I'm able to impart that knowledge, which is so much fun. Soap was a scary thing for me. And the first thing that I started out with, which most people start out with, is melt and pour soaps. And so we're going to highlight a couple of things today, a couple of products that we sell. One of them, which is intimidating to some people, but We're gonna start with the easy one first. So melt and pour soap really is easy. It's basically just taking a base, cutting it up into pieces, microwaving it, adding your fragrance and your colors and whatever else you want, pouring it into a mold, letting it sit, you're done. If you put her in a loaf mold, then you gotta cut it and do things like that. So one of the kits that we sell is a melt and pour soap making kit. And this is the kit right here. It comes with 2 1-pound bars of white melt and pour soap. These bases are SFIC, that's the name of the company. Awesome bases, no harmful chemicals in there, paraben free, vegan except for the goat's milk soap. Well, actually honey, some people consider that not to be vegan, so there is honey, a honey bar as well. But just generally really, really good stuff in their soap bases. We really like them.
Cecilia says she loves making candles and she can't wait to make soap. And that she also says you have to love what you do and you'll never work a day.
That's true. Absolutely. Oh, hey, I should show my shoes, right?
Yes.
So I bought these shoes. Do what you love. And Amy, the amazing Amy, she's the one behind the camera there. She pointed out something this morning, which I only got them because I liked what it said. But she said, did you buy them because of your last name? And I was like, I never even thought of that. So my last name is Murphy, Love, L-O-V-E. So it's actually part of me as well. So super fun. So back to the kit real quick. It comes with 4 1-ounce fragrances. If you come into the retail store, you get to pick out your fragrances. Online, however, we have just different kits you can buy. This one is the clean and fresh. There's floral, there's natural or earthy. Fruity. Yeah, fruity. There's a kids kit as well, kid-friendly fragrances, so you can just pick them out that way. And then it also comes with a we call this a 4-in-1 soap mold like this, so basic shapes, if you will. And it comes with glycerin dyes, 3 dyes, blue, red, and yellow. And then the instructions. And just so that you can see how quick you can do this morning I made 4 bars. And they're right here. So the same shapes that you got in here, and I did kind of 4 different processes with this. So I had made all these embeds ahead of time. I've got a whole closet full of these, so if I want to do a big old loaf of soap or whatever, I can just put these embeds into them. But to get these, you just basically take the melt and pour soap, you add your color to it, and then I put this through a salad shooter that I bought at Goodwill. It just gives like these cool little curls. And then these come from different soap molds that you can buy, or candy molds actually is what these really are. These are little shells. I probably should take them out. But anyway, and these are little balls and stuff. But so I just did this one. I put in the embeds, and this was goat's milk soap that we actually used on this one. And just put a little embed in it. Aren't they cute? It's just a cute little bar there. And then this one was a square one, and I had a little bit too much over the top, so I just took a soap cutter and cut off the bar. But
that's cute.
Yeah, see, I used the rigid soap cutter, so it makes kind of like an exfoliating massage bar when you use it. This one I put some Himalayan pink salt in it, so that's a good exfoliating bar too. And then this is a layered one, so I poured a layer, added my color, poured a layer, let it set for a little while, then I did another layer. It wasn't quite set all the way, so it made a nice little swirling effect when I poured the white on top of that. But see, these all just come from these little molds. Super easy. It was done in less than 10 minutes. Super fast. Now, here's a little, oh my gosh, a truth grenade here. So, and I can tell you, I don't know how many soap makers I've seen talk about this. I forgot to put the fragrance in. I did the color and everything, but I was like, oh, well, I forgot the fragrance. Anyway. So we all make mistakes, but we all learn from things. It's still a great soap base.
Kristen says that you've convinced her she's going to have to get one next time she purchases.
Oh, good. Excellent. 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 So anyway, this is just a great way. If you're afraid of soap making and the lye and all of that, it's a really good way to learn about processes. So like when you're doing this, you really kind of need to check the temperature, especially when you're doing layers and things like that of your soap. So it's a good way to check the temperature of your soap. I had an infrared thermometer that I was using on this, and you know, just getting used to what soap is. And this is already made soap, meaning it already has a lye in it. It's been cured. These are glycerin-based soaps. They really lather up really nice, I have to tell you. These give off really nice lather. But you can use all different kinds of fragrances in them. You can swirl them, not as much as you do like maybe with cold process, but there's some really cool things that you can do with melt and pour. When I first started, I just YouTubed. I watched so many cool YouTube videos on things that you can do with melt and pour soap. It's just, if you buy our foaming sugar scrub, this actually has melt and pour soap in it. You cut up the bars and put it in there and melt it, and then you add it to your sugar and your other items, your whipped soap base. So super fun kit. There's that kit. And then, brand new kit, and I'm super, super excited about this because we've had a lot of people requesting this. We've put together a cold process soap kit. So I'm gonna introduce that to you, but first I'm gonna tell you a really funny story. So before Scott and I decided to bring in soap making supplies, meaning we didn't carry like coconut oil or palm oil, we didn't carry lye. The only thing we really carried was the melt and pour soap bases and the things to add to melt and pour soap. So before we brought in these supplies, I said, okay, well, you know, we probably should learn how to make cold process soap. Purchased all the stuff, got the gear, got the immersion blender, got the infrared thermometer, got the goggles and the long gloves, and you know, I had a mask, had everything ready to go. And I was scared, I couldn't do it. And, which is absolutely silly, but there are a lot of people out there that feel exactly the way that I felt. So I'm out of town one day, and I think it was down in Florida at my mom's, and I get this text with this picture. And it's a picture of all of the soap making tools laid out on our kitchen counter, including the goggles sitting there, everything there, the lye. And underneath it, it says, it's go time. So my husband, the Cierra man, was the first one to make cold process soap. And he did a great job. He said, I don't know what you're afraid of. I'm like, okay. So I finally did it. And you know, as long as you follow all of the precautions that they say to follow, and I did, I watched every video that I could watch about, you know, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Always add your lye to your water, not your water to your lye. L before W, not W before L, all of that fun stuff. And it was so much fun. It really was so much fun. So we have put together a kit.
Joni says, I love all your products. And Kelly says hi.
Hi, Kelly. Thank you, Joni. Glad you could join us. Glad everyone could join us today. Oh, by the way, so you're putting comments and things in there. If you have any questions as we go along, go ahead and put them in. And then afterwards, after the video, if you can't join us live and you have the other questions, please list them there because I'll respond later and I'll answer those for you. And if I don't know the answer, the amazing Amy will, so I'll ask her. So here's the kit. So first thing, safety. So we actually are including some safety glasses in there. They're kind of wrap around, so they're really good, and they've got a little slight lip on each side, so it can't really go up underneath the lye if you happen to spill it, if you're, you know, things happen, but let's be safe. So we've got goggles. We've got a pair of gloves in there. We've got a little mask that you can wear. I don't necessarily wear a mask when I'm soap making. I know a lot of people do. I wear the goggles, and when I stand back like this when I'm stirring the lye into the water, and then I kind of walk away for a while. But you want to do that in a well-ventilated area, period. So, but some people, this might be the perfect thing for you to use when you're making soap, or other products, actually. It certainly wouldn't hurt at all. Okay, we've got a... I think it's a pound of lye. Is that what we ended up doing? No?
8 ounces.
8 ounces of lye in here. So this little container of lye. And it has all the warning labels and everything on it that you need. We've got 4 ounces of castor oil. That. 8 ounces of rice bran oil. A lot of people use olive oil in their soaps. Rice bran oil has a lot of the same properties. So we've got 8 ounces of rice bran oil in there. 8 ounces of coconut oil, 8 ounces of palm oil. We have 2 fragrances we're putting in this kit. We're putting in 2 of our favorite and actually most popular fragrances, white tea and ginger, 1 ounce of white tea and ginger, and 1 ounce of Avo Bath, which is a lush dupe. It's really popular. We have a lot of people coming in. It's really fresh, has a lemony kind of citrusy scent to it. It's just a really, really pretty fragrance and soap. And then we've got a 1 pound mold, which is great for your first batch. You don't, you don't want to do a huge, great big mold maybe. This is perfect. This makes about 4 bars of soap. Unless you cut them kind of skinny, then you could make probably 6 bars of soap. So it's a small loaf mold. It's perfect size, nice and sturdy. And then we have step-by-step instructions in here. So the only thing that we're not providing as far as a product in here is distilled water. So you want to use distilled water when you make cold process soap, not spring water or anything like that. You want to use distilled water. But we've got step-by-step instructions. You can do add-ons with this kit on the website. It's $30, and then you can do add-ons to it. So for instance, maybe you don't have a digital scale. You can add that on when you buy a kit. Maybe you don't have a thermometer. We have a thermometer that you can add on to that. So I think that was it.
Where do you buy this at?
Oh, at CierraCandles.com. Thanks, Amy. Yep. So this is up on our website. We don't have a photo of it yet, but available at CierraCandles.com. Again, it's $30.
And how many loaves does this make?
Oh, that's right. Good point. So this will make 2 loaves. Which is great. Actually, a little bit more because you got more lye than you totally need just for 2 loaves. But the fragrance oil, it's basically 1 ounce per pound. And this makes a pound. So 2 loaves. It does not include color. So if you want to get brave and you want to add color, you can buy some of the colorants on our website. You can come into the store. If you're purchasing it in the store, we've got a bunch of different micas that we sell in the store that we don't sell online. So fun times ahead. Let's see here on the thing that, so you'll need a microwave because you got to microwave down your hard oils, and you can just take off the top here, take that out, put it in your microwave, melt it down, or you could put it in a hot water bath. Same with the palm oil. But the instructions are here. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of that, but I promise you that if you try this, you're going to fall in love with cold process soap making.
Cecilia says, so is there a difference in the soaps from melt and pour versus cold process?
Yes. So the melt and pour soap bases are glycerin based. So the basis of these, that's, if you look at the ingredients on it, glycerin is very high in glycerin, which is very moisturizing. It also makes a little bit of a harder bar right away. It's just, it doesn't melt as fast because there's not the higher concentration of the butters like there is in butters and oils like there is in cold process soap. What else? Do you think there's something else I'm missing between the differences?
Super
really?
fat? I mean, with glycerin, is there super fat?
I don't know that there's a whole lot of super fatting in melt and pour soap, for those of you that know what that term means, but I do know that it melts a little bit slower. So it's a harder bar for sure, which you can make cold process soap really hard. Mm-hmm. Lots of coconut oil will make a bar that's like super hard. In fact, when I make laundry detergent, we use coconut oil soap, and that's all that's in there. It's just the lye and the coconut oil in there. It makes a super, super hard bar soap. Don't know it's necessarily something you put on your skin though. For just coconut oil, that's not good property. So
Cecilia wants to know, is one better for your skin?
One over the other? I don't think so. And let me tell you why. So with the melt and pour soaps, you can buy different bases depending on what you're looking for as far as the property of soap. So we have a goat's milk base, which is great. We have a cocoa butter. So very moisturizing. Cocoa butter is super moisturizing. We have a oatmeal. So if you've got skin that's itchy and dry, those properties are great for skin types like that. I think you can, with cold process soap, you can do some things differently that you wouldn't do necessarily in melt and pour soap. For instance, you can make a facial bar for someone that has eczema and things like that. These types of products, you can do all kinds of additives to help with that, where you You can do a little bit of that with melt and pour. You can add more things into melt and pour. You just can't add too much. For instance, you can't add, let's say shea butter, a lot more shea butter into a bar, because if you do, it's going to make it soft and it's going to make the bar melt really quickly. So you can add, I think it's like a total additives. I believe it's 1 tablespoon per pound of soap. You don't want to go above that. You know, that's not a whole lot really when you think about it. You can add activated charcoal to melt and pour soap, which is great. So that helps with, you know, making a facial soap of some sort. You can do that same thing with cold process. So I would say that there's a whole lot more you can do with cold process as far as making the soap adaptable to a skin type or some kind of property that you want it to portray than with melt and pour soap. Melt and pour soap is also very fun. There's some fun things that you can do with this, some shapes and things like that, where with cold process, and at some point I'm sure we'll do a video on different swirling techniques and fun layering. And if you saw my Instagram post a couple of months ago, I did one where I tried to do this column pour and it totally failed miserably, but it ended up being just a beautiful bar soap. I mean, it was fine. So there's some fun things that you can do that you can't do with melt and pour soap. Like you can't do the really cool swirls in melt and pour soap that you can do in cold process. It's just, it's too fluid. It's too fluid of a soap to be able to do that with it. But so these are our 2 kits, and so hopefully I have convinced some of you to try something that's scary that you might not necessarily have tried before. And whether it's with a craft or whether it's just something else in your life, like changing your career and doing something that you have totally wanted to do what you love. So thanks for joining us today.
And where can we buy this?
Again, CierraCandles.com.
Thanks for watching.